Hey beautiful people, what is up and welcome back to my channel. I am Jamila and I love all things beauty. I love all things makeup, I love all things skincare, and I especially love sharing my tips and tricks for how to find high-end and luxury beauty products at bargain prices. If that sounds like something you're interested in, I would absolutely love if you would consider subscribing and joining the family. Alright, I kind of feel like I woke up and chose violence this morning. Just a little bit, just a little insy-bitsy bit. So I haven't fully decided the title that I'm gonna have for this video, but I've been thinking along the lines of something like lines from makeup brands that should die, makeup brands that need to die, something along those, like something along the lines of products that need to die from beauty brands or makeup lines that need to die. We'll figure it out. If you're watching this video, obviously there's a title on there, so that's what it ended up being. But let me back things up and give you a little bit of context, right? So I've mentioned on this channel before that I'm a part of a lovely, absolutely lovely beauty community, and we talk all the time, and this bird is doing the most. Hold on, let me close the window so he could leave. Sorry, I had to scare away this bird because he was making so much noise, the audacity. Anyway, so as I was saying, I've talked on the channel multiple times about the fact that I'm a part of this really, really lovely beauty community, and we talk all the time about makeup. We talk all the time about releases, and it's just a ton of fun to have a group of like-minded individuals who just love makeup, generally. And we were chatting yesterday, which was the day before the end of the Sephora VIB sale, or the day of the Sephora VIB sale ending. And we were just talking about, you know, last minute products that we want to pick up because the sale is ending, and if there's anything that we should be looking at and adding to our carts. The topic of Miss Charlotte Tilbury came up because she just released her new Pillow Talk Party line. And I don't know what kind of mood I was in yesterday, but basically I was like, if Charlotte releases another pink palette, she needs to be smacked. And then that just got me thinking about all of these lines from makeup brands that we keep seeing rinse and repeat, and that just need to go away. Like, could you, like, stop? So this video is honestly, it's in all fun and games. There's nothing serious about this. Please don't get mad. Like, it's literally just for fun. And I asked you guys on Instagram, you know, are there lines for makeup brands that you think just need to go away because we're over it, we're done? And y'all came through, so I'm going to be sharing a couple of my thoughts, as well as some of the feedback that I got from you guys on the brands that we think need to die, or the lines from the brands that we need to think. That's a real tongue twister. The lines from the brands that we think need to die. I'll figure it out. So let's kick things off with Miss Tilbury, because she's the one that sparked this entire thing. And the first thing that comes to mind is Pillow Talk. I am so sick and tired of everything being Pillow Talk. Like, how many Pillow Talks palettes have been released so far? We had the Pillow Talk Quad, we had the Pillow Talk palette of Pops, we had the Pillow Talk Big palette. I think there's a blush, there's a wand, there's this new quad. It's just, I'm Pillow Talked out. Like, no, I am so over it. And I think what frustrates me most about this is that, well, about Charlotte in general, is that anytime Miss Patricia releases a palette and it turns out to be a pink palette, there is uproar in the beauty community. Like, everybody's lost their mind. That's basically what happens anytime Pat gives us a pink palette. And she gets a lot of hate for it. But then I feel like when Charlotte Tilbury gives us a pink palette, it's like crickets. And I've watched a couple of reviews, I've heard a couple of people talk about this new palette, and it's been getting pretty positive reviews. And in my mind, I'm like, isn't this the same palette she released? Isn't this the same Pillow Talk palette? How is this different? Is it different? Like, I feel like there are all of these other brands that will oftentimes release the same thing, and it's not exactly the same thing, but you know what I mean. The same color story, the same color, the same theme over and over again, and they don't get the level of hate that Mama Pat gets, and it really bothers me to my core, because at the end of the day, Pat McGrath is one of a handful, if not the only Black woman that is operating in this luxury beauty / makeup space. I'm sure there are others, but she's the only one operating at this caliber and at this level that I know of personally. So to see her get the level of hate for things that these other brands are doing really bothers me, because for her to even be at this level is such an accomplishment. And yes, she gives us pink palettes all the time, and yes, she needs to do more. But at the end of the day, her quality is top notch. If you don't like it, don't buy it, period. And there are other brands that do that, to me, at a higher extent, and are just worse when it comes to re-releasing the same things. That being said, I think that we need to let Pillow Talk go. Like, just float away and be done with it. So that is the first line I want to talk about. All right. So while we're talking about her, let's not bring her into this conversation too. So next up, I want to talk about Pat McGrath Divine Rose, or Rose anything. I think that we were all really caught off guard when Pat McGrath took this Divine Rose thing and just ran with it. You know, when you look back at Pat's products, it was very much new and innovative. Every time she released something, it had this really fun, you know, side to it. All of the names were different. And then she gave us Divine Rose 1. And it was like, okay, that's cute. Then she gave us Divine Rose 2. And we were like, okay, we will accept that because it is, you know, the big sister, the more spunky, the more vibrant sister. We will accept that. And then she gave us Utopian Dream, which we know was Divine Rose 3. Then we got the Divine Rose blushes. We got Divine Rose lipstick, Divine Rose lip gloss. We got Eternal Eden, Ritualistic Rose. Like, it was just all of these divine things or rose things. And at this point, I'm divined and rosed out. I am done. I am tired. And I feel like because it was so rose themed, that's why we kept getting these very pink color stories. Or maybe she just didn't care and kept giving us pink. But I feel like at this point, I would love to see Pat McGrath kind of pivot away from Divine Rose and into something else. You know, give us a whole new theme. I get it. Divine Rose was successful. It still is successful. It's a beautiful color story. Can't argue with that. I love the Divine Rose blush. I love the Divine Rose lip gloss. I have both Divine Rose palettes and I love them. So the quality is there, but I think that we are well past. We're past it. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it pushing. The third brand that I want to talk about is one that I've also talked about before, and that is the Urban Decay Naked line. I think it's time we put some clothes on. Just join me in being clothed, Urban Decay. I don't understand why they continue to go down this road of naked palettes that don't nobody want. Nobody want that. We didn't want it last year. We didn't want it the year before. Frankly, after the third naked palette, we were over it. We were done. There have been so many naked releases, and I get it. The whole theme about it was to create this line of neutral palettes that would run the gamut from like the smoky to the cool tone to the warm tone. Got it. Totally fine. But I think we are over that. Like, nobody wants that. Everybody has their own set of like neutral palettes that they have, that they love, and this doesn't really add anything to most people's collections. Quite frankly, for some of us, it's just ashy and it doesn't work. I remember trying to convince myself that the original naked palette would work for me. It didn't. It really didn't. I cannot believe this bird came back. 1 second. You know the bird come back with 2 friends? The audacity. No birds were harmed in the making of this video. Just saying. Anyway, like I was saying, I think that the naked palettes, I think that they're just overdone at this point. I feel like we have gotten past this whole phase of neutral palettes or just plain neutral palettes. If you're gonna give us a neutral palette, give us a neutral palette with a little something extra in there. So I would love to see Naked move on from that line. I remember when they released the Born to Run palette. Loved it. Absolutely love it. It's literally the only Urban Decay palette I have in my collection. And I just want to see them do more. Give us something else. Give us something new. The Wild Greens palette was in the right direction, so let's keep going down that road. The third, is this third? Fourth. The fourth line that I want to talk about is one that came up a ton when I asked you guys what needs to die. And that is the NARS Orgasm series. NARS, baby, NARS. I have been hearing about NARS Orgasm for so many years. Even before I was really into makeup, I knew about the NARS Orgasm blush because everybody talked about this NARS Orgasm blush. And I think at this point we've seen Orgasm X or Orgasm Extreme. It's been blush, it's been lipstick, it's been a quad, I believe, or an eyeshadow palette. So they really took this orgasm theme and just like ran with it and created an entire line of products. And let me just say this, overall, I'm not faulting these brands for doing this, because it's not something that's just specific to brands alone. If you have a successful product or something that you think you can franchise, 100% do it. So I understand where if a brand sees that this is selling really well, this has people excited, I want to create more products under this umbrella, that I understand makes sense. But I also think that they need to recognize when they are at the point where people are just tired and they don't think that this is new and innovative and fun anymore. It's kind of like the Fast and Furious franchise. I'm just saying, they could have stopped 4 movies ago. Oh my god, I'm gonna get so much hate in the comments. The NARS, I really do think that at this point, if you have NARS orgasm, you have NARS orgasm. And it's not really new or innovative anymore. To be quite frank, I think that there are better blush shades out there. I think people have found better products aside from the blush, like the lipstick and all that other stuff. So I don't think that it's something that they need to keep rinsing and repeating and putting back out into circulation. Okay, next coming in at number 5 is one that I actually didn't think about at all, but one of you guys mentioned it on Instagram, and that is the Tarte Tartelets palette. I remember when they used to release these palettes, like I think pretty much every year there would be a new Tartelet palette, and I had completely forgotten about it. Truth be told, I don't shop from Tarte anymore, so as a brand, I have no idea what they're releasing. If there's a new Tartelet palette, I have no clue. But I know that it was a really, really popular line within the brand. Actually, when I was thinking about the series, what came to mind for me was Shape Tape. I remember, you know, Shape Tape was the concealer. If you wanted to have the perfect makeup, you had to use Shape Tape concealer. And then they created a hydrating version of the concealer, and I think like 2 foundations based on the concealer. You all know about the Shape Tape foundation gate mess. But I know that they have still really held on to the success that Shape Tape has had as a concealer and really, really tried to run with it. And going back to my previous comment about, you know, brands needing to let that go, I think that we have come to realize that the Shape Tape concealer is actually kind of dry and kind of way too thick. I think that looking back now and reflecting and comparing that concealer to new concealers on the market, we've realized that it's kind of just okay. It's a little mediocre, and if you have dry skin, it's going to be too dry for you. And if you prefer more light to medium coverage in terms of like your makeup application, it might be too full coverage to you. So while it was a great product for the time, I don't think that it is a product that people are ranting and raving about right now. Like, when was the last time you saw somebody mention that they were going in with Shape Tape as their concealer? When was the last time you saw a video about that? So I wish that they would move on from Shape Tape into like a whole new line of products that wasn't tied to, one, something that is quite negative, because the foundation, I think, really ruined that line for a lot of people, and 2, in terms of people's preferences when it comes to makeup application, I just don't think it aligns right now. I think they tried to make it align with the hydrating version of it, but I don't know if that had much success, because people were still like looking at foundation gate. Okay, next, I forgot what number we at, so we're just gonna keep going. I'm looking at my little list here. Next, I want to talk about the Revolution Friends collection. I didn't really know about this. This was something that one of you guys mentioned in on Instagram to me, and I was like, huh, okay. I'm still not super familiar with how much like Revolution products, how much products make up Revolution has created with the Friends sort of franchise. So I'm not really familiar with that. But it did get me thinking about all of the Makeup Revolution brands. Like, there's Makeup Revolution, I think just Revolution, Revolution Pro. I don't understand why they need to have so many different lines. Is the formula different? Are they creating drastically different products? I don't think so. And I don't know, but to me, to have so many different brands doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because it's not like it's a umbrella brand and there is a line under each one. It just seems like they're creating a bunch of separate brands all under this Revolution head company, but it doesn't make sense because they all have the name Revolution in it, and I can't tell what the difference is. So I really wish that they would just stop creating brands or just consolidate everything into one. Like, could we just have a consolidated Makeup Revolution or Revolution or whatever name they choose brand? It's so confusing. It is so confusing, unbelievably confusing. All right, two more and then I'm done. Melt Cosmetics. Cara, please don't be mad at me, but could we let the weed collections go? Every year there's a 420 palette. Every year there's something that is marijuana themed. Could we just let it go? Like, could we be done with that? Like, I think it was cool and edgy at the beginning when, you know, marijuana was not legal in most states and it still isn't legal in some states. But at this point, it's annoying. I'm over the 420 theme. I don't want my eyeshadow palettes to have the weed symbol engraved into the pan. I don't want that. And I don't know if anybody else wants it either. But I just think that it's a little bit annoying. No, at this point. So I would love to see them let it go. And thank you to whoever mentioned that on my Instagram, because I wasn't thinking about it until they said it. And I was like, you know, you're right. Very, very right about that one. And then lastly, this isn't like a line, but it's kind of like an entire brand. So again, please don't cancel me. Please don't be mad. But could we just let all of Beauty Blender go? Every time I see Beauty Blender release a Beauty Blender in a different color, like it's the most revolutionary thing, I just get irritated off of the principle. Like, stop trying to sell me colored sponges for $20. Don't do it. And then I remember vividly the last release that I saw was they created a sponge. It's the same sponge, same $20 sponge, and I think the price went up a little bit too. And all it did was it changed colors when it was wet. Who asked for that? Who asked for multicolored sponges? We want a cheaper sponge. If you could just take your innovation and give us a cheaper sponge, we would be happy. I don't know anybody that's still really buying that overpriced sponge to apply their makeup. I've talked multiple times about the Shop Missy sponges because I think that they perform really well. The quality is amazing. And since then, I've never bought a Beauty Blender again. So I don't use them. But also, I just feel like they ventured into makeup a little bit. I remember when they released their foundation. It wasn't really loved. No one really talked about it until this day. I don't think anybody really uses it. And after that, I feel like I haven't heard of anything else that they've released other than continuously releasing the same sponge but in a different color. Like, could we just... I'm just done and over with that. It's not innovative. It's quite annoying. And it just seems like a gimmick. If there was ever one, it would be the Beauty Blender sponges being released in multiple colors. All right. Oh, I feel like that was a release. That was a good time. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I would love to hear your thoughts on, you know, the brands or the lines from makeup brands that you think need to just die and go away. You know, part of why I created my channel is because in addition to using and applying makeup, I like talking about it as well. And I think having these conversations are really important because you get to hear other people's perspectives, other people's preferences. So I would just love to hear your thoughts on, like, are there things that you think just need to fizzle out and die and move on and, you know, give us a new, innovative, fresh line. Anyway, if you like this video, I would absolutely love if you would hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Make sure to ring the notification bell too, because that will let you know every time I upload. I've said this before, I don't have an upload schedule because life, job, all of that. So when a video goes up, it goes up, and that bell will help you not to miss any uploads. If you like the content, also go ahead and share with a friend who you think might like it as well. As always, I love you guys. Thank you so very much for watching, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye!